Okay, so have you ever heard of a thief that can steal millions from a company without anyone even noticing? I'm serious. It doesn't wear a disguise, it doesn't break any locks, it's totally silent, completely invisible, and it could be draining profits from a business as we speak. In this explainer, we're going to unmask this culprit and meet the special kind of detective that brings it to justice. Think about it like this. Imagine all your company's revenue is water being poured into a bucket. You're working so hard to fill it up, right? But what if? What if there are these tiny, unseen holes at the bottom? Just little drips, constant and unnoticed, but slowly draining that water away. Well, that's exactly what happens to so many businesses. They're losing money not from some big dramatic event, but from 1,000 tiny leaks they don't even know exist. So this silent thief, this whole leaky bucket problem, it actually has an official name, revenue leakage. And believe me, it's one of the most stubborn challenges in business today. So let's put it under the microscope. And what's so wild is how simple the definition sounds for such a massive problem. At its core, revenue leakage is just any money that a company should have earned but didn't. It got lost somewhere along the way. Now, this can be anything from a simple billing error to a service that was never built for, or even straight up fraud. It's a huge issue in industries with really complex billing, like telecom, utilities, and all the fintech companies out there, where even a teeny tiny error can multiply into gigantic losses over time. But hey, where there's a crime, there's got to be an investigator, right? And to catch a thief this sneaky, you need a really smart, really dedicated detective on the case. In the business world, that detective is a specialized practice, and it's called revenue assurance. Revenue assurance, or RA for short, is basically a financial detective squad. Their entire job is to hunt down these leaks. But here's the cool part. They don't just find the problems. They dig in and figure out why they happened in the first place, and then they make sure those leaks are plugged for good. They're pretty much the guardians of a company's bottom line. So, how do they do it? What special gear does our revenue detective use to uncover all these hidden problems? All right, let's open up the toolkit and see what we've got inside. Okay, so the first and most fundamental tool is data reconciliation. You can think of this like a detective checking alibis. Does the story from one system match the story from another? For example, does a customer's service plan in the sales system match what they're actually being billed for in the finance system? Any mismatch is the first clue. Then you've got fraud detection. This uses fancy analytics, sometimes even AI, to spot weird patterns that could point to someone intentionally stealing. And finally, process optimization. This is like the detective walking the beat, checking every single step of a process, from the moment a customer orders something to the final payment, just to make sure there are no cracks where revenue can slip through. Theory is great and all, but let's see this detective in action. We're going to open up a real case file. Let's call it the case of the missing payment to see exactly how a tiny little error can spiral into a major loss and how our revenue assurance team cracks it. All right, let's follow the evidence. Step 1, it all starts with something super simple. A customer upgrades their plan. No big deal. Step 2, but then a silent system glitch happens. A little miscommunication between two computer systems means the billing department never gets the update. Step 3, the result? Month after month, that customer is enjoying their better service, but they're still paying the old, lower price. It's a classic revenue leak, and it could have gone on forever except Step 4, the revenue assurance system, which is always comparing data, spots the mismatch and raises the alarm. The detective has found a clue. Now, here's where you see the real scale of the problem. That one little glitch cost the company $20 a month from just one customer. And you might be thinking, $20, so what? But what if that same glitch affected, say, 10,000 customers? Suddenly, that tiny $20 leak becomes a $200,000 a month gusher. We're talking nearly $2.5 million a year just vanished into thin air, all from one tiny breakdown in a process. And that is exactly why the work of the revenue detective is so critical. It's not just about fixing small billing errors, it's about protecting the entire financial health and profitability of the organization from these threats that are often invisible until it's way too late. So let's just recap the case here. Revenue assurance isn't just about finding money that's already lost. It's a proactive financial safeguard. It actively recovers money and stops future losses before they happen. By constantly improving the accuracy of data and making processes better, it really defends against future leaks. At the end of the day, its mission is simple. Make sure every single dollar a company earns actually makes it to the bank. It's all about protecting profitability from the ground up. And that really brings us to our final question. It's easy to think this stuff only happens to giant corporations, but the truth is, these silent leaks can pop up in any business, big or small. So I want you to take a moment and just think about it. Where are the hidden leaks in your revenue stream? Because finding them, well, that's the first step to plugging them for good.